Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? What's going on? I see you. Wendy, Spady, Jill, Stable, Jasmine Wilkins, Teresa Gordon, Quentin Mills. Good evening, everybody. I'm looking forward to tonight. Tonight is week 4 of our Creative Leaders Academy. And I don't know about you, but I have been empowered. Um, I feel full from just all of the information that we have gotten over these last 4 weeks. First off, before we get started, before we go into everything, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you once again for making this investment into yourself, into your creative skill set, but also into yourself as a leader. And tonight, we're going to be really talking about team building because one thing that we know is if you are a leader without people following you, you're not a leader. But what I want to help you do tonight is really to reinforce your skill set, to build your confidence, but also we're going to learn how to really build a winning team, a winning team. And I don't know who needs that, but I believe this is a major part and a major component of being a leader, especially one who's been blessed with creativity. So tonight is going to be pretty amazing. If you did not know, as I said, this has been our first learning lab, or 4 weeks of learning lab. And I am just grateful for everything that's happening. Thank you, Jasmine. Amazing Academy. Thank you so much. And we're gonna keep doing it. Starting next month, we're gonna put out a new set of instructors that are going to help us to really facilitate our creativity. I'm talking to individuals, have a few locked in already. But tonight, we'll be offering just an opportunity for if you would like to, don't have to, but I think it's always great. But we'll be doing just a monthly subscription. I was talking about subscription base, but a monthly subscription of $39.99. And being a part of that monthly subscription, you will get into our Creative Leader Academy or Learning Labs for free. It comes along with it. You will also get information. You'll get access to all the replays that we have as well. And so this is the ground floor. You are our first set of individuals that really took a risk and really went all in with us as well. And so I'm just grateful. My wife is on, Tamara, so good to see you. But just grateful for your risk. And so tonight, and before we put out the names and things like that for our next set for our Creative Leaders Academy, I want to let you guys know that, I appreciate y'all. You guys are special. You guys were the first. And so we're doing for this week for you guys only a $39.99 a month, but it will go up after this week and it will go back to what everybody else will be paying. And so this is going to be great. We're looking forward to doing some amazing things. I hear in my head a conference pretty soon. And so we're going to do something where we start to bring a lot of these things together, start to build community. And I pray that you have connected in our Facebook group. 1 second, somebody did not get the link. Okay, thought I emailed it all out. Let me make sure this person gets it because they did pay. Let's make sure. Here we go. And I want to make sure that everybody gets in tonight. Paste. All right, cool. Well, yeah. So like I was saying, thank you guys so much for just being along for the ride. And so I'll talk more about it, but let's jump into our Leadership Academy for tonight. I'm going to bring up my slides. Let's see. I'm going to be bigger. So tonight, y'all, I want you to ask questions tonight. Tonight is going to be a great night because it's anything that you really want to know. As far as the things that we've learned this month have been really good. I don't know if you went back and watched our AI session, but oh my gosh, Dr. Lester was putting out so much information. If you were like me, like when you left, your head was on fire. And I want to be there for you guys to be able to help you to implement certain things that you heard. So we talked a lot. I've studied a lot of things that he's done and just seen certain things. And so if you have any questions on that, if you need any help, maybe implementing some of those, or us getting together and putting in some of the apps that he was talking about, that was good. As well as our first week where we talked about social media. How many of you guys started using Perplexity? I don't know if you have not used it, but if you haven't downloaded Perplexity, it's AI. It's a better version of Chat GPT, and that thing has been blessing me. And so I just think that all of those things are great. But tonight, if you have any questions, I really want to spend time with you guys with questions. I know we're typing, and we'll send. I want to get some information on just as we grow, seeing what works best. Would you like to see your face, like to talk? Or does this platform work for you? And once again, because you guys were our very first class, I just want to say thank you, and your feedback is so important. So let's jump into it. So as we know, building an effective team has to be combined with two more things. Effective teams need systems. And effective teams not only need systems, but they also need structure in order to be built upon. If we are saying that we are leaders, the biggest thing that they say that creative leaders are is that we are unorganized. And you'll get that a lot. You know, they say creatives don't use one part of their brain for organization. But what I would really want to help you to is to just kind of understand certain things that I have dealt with as a creative leader. I am a person who can use multiple sides of my brain when it comes to thinking creatively. And also at times I can be administrative. But I think what happens with creatives is we choose to operate in one side more, and that is in the side that is easiest for you to function in. So maybe you're on today and you're saying, hey, you know, I'm a creative. I'm able to just think up ideas. I'm sleep at night. I don't know who this is, but for me, I realize that I have my best ideas at night. I don't know what it is. Best ideas at night or in random places. I could be walking, I could be going somewhere and just have random ideas. Hey, y'all, actually, this platform is working with perfect. Had to walk away. Leaders need what? Leaders need teams. Leaders need effective teams, systems, and structures. And so the question is for y'all, like, when do you work best? I think you got to ask yourself that. And upon understanding your DNA, your code of how you work best, this will help you as you start to build out your team. Because most of us that are leaders in some aspect need people on our teams that are our strengths to our weaknesses. And so, what I'm saying is that we all have places in our creativity and our leadership where we are weak. And so, this is why we need a team. This is why you need a team. But here's one thing that they say that you don't get the team that you want, you get the team that you build. And I think that was a major breaking point for me, even in pastoring. I am in another stage of building teams where I started as a creative director, building creative teams, but now I'm finding myself having to build other teams in order to support an organization. But it all still kind of makes the same. It's still the same. But you don't get the team that you want. Somebody write this down. You don't get the team that you want. You get the team that you build. And so whether you are in corporate America, whether you are a entrepreneur, maybe you are a team leader at a church, any of those things is not about the team that you want, it's the team that you build. And so if we're going to build or have a team, we have to build effective teams. Jonathan, it's for me, I'm creative but unorganized, and I definitely work best at the last minute at night when everyone and everything else shuts down, less distraction. I don't know why we as creatives, why that happens that way. I can totally 100% understand. It seems like the creativity just it comes out when we need it the most. And so sometimes that can cause us to operate in procrastination. But I believe that this is why we need to build great teams, because great teams will help us in the weak parts of our lives, in the weak parts of areas that would really help us to move the ball down the field. So we're going to talk about building effective teams up to 1 a.m. Yes, build an effective team, system and structures. Let's keep going. Here it is. If I'm going to build an effective team, the first thing I got to understand, let me make it a little bit bigger. First thing I understand is that unity is dangerous. Um, Unity is dangerous because when you have a team that is all on the same page, is nothing that cannot be accomplished. So the reason why we build teams is so that we can be unified as a team. Here it is. Unity is dangerous to an opposing force. So maybe whether you are on a football team, whatever type of team you're on, if you are unified, you are dangerous to whatever the opposing force is that you're going up against. Maybe it's a project deadline. Maybe as a creative, it is us thinking of a way to do an event. Whatever it is, maybe I'm selling a product. But if I'm going to build a team, I must first have a team that's unified. Because if we're all unified, I think on what's that movie? Soul Food. That's what it is. The grandma said, like this, we're not a force, but when we put our fists together, however she said it, basically, when you get together with a group of individuals that understand their position, that understand what they're doing, understand a lot of these things that we're going to talk about today, we understand that that is a major force to war against anything that's coming against us. So like I said, it could be a product, it could be a project, it could be your team, your church, whatever it is. Unity is dangerous to an opposing force. Here's some scripture. Not that I'm preaching, but I'm gonna give you some. At one time, all the people of the world spoke the same language, and you may know this, and used the same words. As the people migrated to the east, they found a plain in the land of Babylonia and settled there. They began saying to each other, let's make brick. Let's create, let's make bricks and harden them with fire. In the region, bricks were used instead of stone, and tar was used for mortar. Then they said, come, let's build a great city for ourselves with a tower that reaches into the sky. This will make us famous. I'm not talking about that. I'm not preaching. I'm talking about one thing, and keeps us from being scattered all over the world. Verse 5, but the Lord came down to look at the city and the tower the people were building. Look, he said, the people are united and they all speak the same language. After this, nothing they set out to do will be impossible for them. Here it is, y'all. I know this is, we're talking about business, we're talking about church leadership, but the word of God, it goes beyond, it just translates. God said that these people are on the same page. They are unified in heart and in thought. They are unified because of a couple things. If you look, they had a plan. They had a vision. Let's make bricks and harden them with fire. In this region, bricks were used. Then they said, verse 4, come, let us build a great city for ourselves with a tower that reaches into the sky. They had a vision. They knew what they were doing. They were unified together. And then even God said, even though they were doing something that went against the will of God, they were so unified that nothing would be impossible to them. So I'm here to tell you, as a creative and as a leader, if you get your team all on the same page, nothing will be impossible to them. Nothing will be impossible for you. So what's the problem? The problem is that many of us have people that are on our teams, people that are following us, but they don't understand. They don't know the vision. They don't know the goal. It's not clear. Therefore, your team is not effective because you're not unified. All right, let's go. So what are things that kill unity? Because it's where a lot of us are. One, if you have a team, pride can kill unity. Everybody needs to know their place. And humility has to be shown. Humility has to be exampled on a team. Just because you're the leader, it doesn't mean that you have all the answers. I'm going to say that again for somebody in the back. Just because you are the leader doesn't always mean you have all the answers. I'll talk about myself, y'all. As a leader, especially a creative leader, many times there's a pressure that you may feel that you got to know it all. But what I found is Craig Groeschel says people would rather follow someone who's always real than someone who's always right. And so many times you will find people that follow you because you are okay with saying, I don't know. Those words are very important in leadership, especially if you're building a team, to allow people to know where they fit and to let people know that their strengths may be your weakness. That's what we're talking about. You may have a weakness of, like me, I'm serious. I'm gonna be honest with you, procrastination. That has been a weakness of mine. But I have to find people that have strengths where I'm weak. So where I may say, man, I overly think about certain things. I sometimes think too hard about something, which causes me to be paralyzed in procrastination. And many times, many of us as creatives, that can happen. So I got to find somebody to put on my team that is asking me, when's the deadline? When is this going to be put up? When are you going to finish with this graphic? When are you going to do the project that you said you were going to do? But I can't let my pride get in the way to where I'm like, I got it. No, you don't got it. So I'm talking to you. You got to find somebody on your team who is strong where you are weak. And you cannot allow pride to make you say things or do things or put yourself in a position where you're not okay with taking help. You need help. This is why you have to build a team. If you are a leader, you need people and you need help. Here it is. 2, defiance of the common goal. These are killers to unity. If everyone is not on the same page, if everybody is not together, the ones that were at the Tower of Babel, they were all on the same page because what? They spoke the same language. And many of us, we are on the same team, but we're speaking different language. We're on the same team, but we're not all talking in the same direction, the same language to go in the same direction. We're not moving the ball down the field in the right direction. So it's defiance of the common goal. We have to understand what is our common goal, and that happens through a common vision. So if you're building a team, you need vision. Here it is. How do I build a team? I'm glad you asked. Bring your team together with a common goal. And that common goal is vision. Here's the thing about vision. Vision, this is big. You ready? Vision is everything. Vision, if you're starting, Jonathan, he has the clothing line. Many of you may have a business. Some of you are in ministry. Some of you are on a team at your church. You are one of the people who makes things happen, but every team needs a vision. If you're a part of an organization, if you're part of a church, every team needs to know the vision. What we do at our church in order to make sure that everyone knows the vision and the mission of our church and the vision stays the same. But the question is, and this is for somebody on your team, how do you fulfill the mission and the vision of the organization? So just because you have a team that is not at the top of the organization, that doesn't mean that your individual team should not be fulfilling the mission and the vision of the organization as a whole. So let's say, my mission is that I know God, I find freedom, I discover purpose. I like those 3 things. Well, the question is, even if you are, was it the usher? How are you fulfilling the mission to know God and find freedom and discover purpose? If your vision is that we're going to sell the best coats ever, maybe I'm on a team that falls under this. How do I fulfill the vision of we sell the best coats ever? Whatever it is, you need a vision. If you're building a team, if there is not a vision, then there is division. And that's going in too many directions. You need one vision. We believe that the vision is the most, or I'm reading because this is what we wrote. We believe that the vision is the most important thing. We gotta have a vision. You have to have a vision for your team. All right. So you gotta have common goals because those common goals build what is the foundation of your team. The next thing that you need after you have your vision, y'all, is you got to start building systems. Systems are very important. They are very important for a team because systems are the things that maintain the organization of your team. All right. So there are different systems that we use in order to maintain organization. There's different tools. So one tool could be for our organization. Let's say for our church, we're using something called well, I guess that would be more so a structure that we plan a center. The system would really be how something works. It would be like the confines of how this team works. How does this team function? What is the system of onboarding to your team? When we first started our church, before we ever did anything, we built out systems of how certain things would work so that when we put people in the system, they would be able to function easier. So the question was, okay, someone gives their life to the Lord. What does that system look like? For us, we say when someone gives their life to the Lord, I have them to raise their hand. When they raise their hand, we don't call our people ushers, we call them hosts. It's just a cool way of saying ushers. Our hosts, which are on the left and the right, they are looking for people's hands that are raised. We then have a sheet of paper that is a large sheet of paper, that is a bright sheet of paper, and it says, you just made the best decision ever. That sheet of paper is laminated, and it's put into the hand of the people who raise their hand. Because when a person has that sheet of paper, we then tell them to take that sheet of paper and go to the sign that says next steps. However, what we found out is at one point our paper was too small, but now because it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, when someone walks out the door, our greeters who are in the lobby now see somebody with that big piece of paper and they say, hey, you just made the greatest decision. Come on over to the next steps booth, boom, and let's get some information. We're doing all of that so we can connect a little bit deeper. The system then gets that person to put their information in. We give them a Bible and we give them some information. We give them a card that has a link to a website which talks about here are your next steps. But now we have their email, we have their name and their phone number. Now we're able to contact them, to do life with them, et cetera, et cetera. A system is a way that you onboard things. A system is how you do what you do. Every team needs systems. How do you get on your team? What's the system to get on your team? Those are the things that every team needs. What's the system to do whatever it is that you do? So here's the thing. How do you build systems? I'm glad you asked. One thing that you can do, and this is one thing that we did, we call it a process map. And simply all I did was think through how to go from point A all the way to, I guess we'll say Z. How do I go from start to finish? And then you take, which we did, we took index cards and I say, okay, one, like I said, the start was the start was getting a person's information from making a salvation. The end was having the person's information. So we started with the first cue card and I wrote out, hey, the first thing I need to do is I got to make the ask. We asked, do you want to be saved? Next cue card. All right, now raise your hand. Next cue card. All right, when you raise your hand, blah, blah, blah. And so that's how you build systems. You have to start from the beginning and you have to work your way to the end. And then here's the word that creatives don't like to hear. Then you got to document. If it's not written, it doesn't exist. I'm going to say that again for you. You in the back. If it's not written, it does not exist. So you got to build systems that once you document it, you work it. Now it's worked and you may have to tweak, but once you work it, now that system is now becoming what we call a structure. Here it is. Systems. Healthy systems solve root problems. All right. Healthy systems solve problems on your team. If you want to be a great leader, if you want to be a great leader and build great teams, you must have healthy systems that solve problems. All right. These systems have to be documented so that after they solve the problem, now you can duplicate the problem that was solved. What I found out, even I'm guys, and I'm telling you, I don't have it all. I'm still learning. I'm still making a lot of mistakes. But one thing that I learned is if you don't document, you're going to keep running into the same problem over and over again. Healthy systems solve root problems. Two, healthy systems allow your volunteers, allow your teams to not document it. I'm logging off. That's it. Here's the thing though. If you don't like documenting, there's somebody around you that does. The question is how are you finding the person who is your strength where you're weak? Got to find the people who love to do what you hate to do. Put those people on your team. Ron Starling talked about it on our second week. He said that he had a girl who joined the team. The girl joined the team and he asked her, could she do a graphic? She was like, no, I can't do graphics. Can you do video? No, I can't do video. He's like, well, what can you do? But he put on her, she was administrative. He told her, okay, this is what I need you to do. I need you to organize my schedule. I need you to organize my systems. I need you to organize those things. He said she did all those things. She loved to do the thing that he hated. That's good. Chat GPT. Things that build systems, which are much easier now, is what we learned last week. AI. AI is your friend to help you build the documents and systems that you need. Documentation always or allows you to have a repeat process. Yes, when I document it, when I put it in Chat GPT, when I put it, I'm going with Perplexity, y'all. Perplexity has been amazing. When I put it in Perplexity, because here's the thing that I learned about it. It gives you the sources of everything. It connects. It's just so good. When I put it there, y'all, right? When I put it there, it builds the system. All right. So healthy systems allow your people to not hate, not just say the church, but the organization, to not hate the team, to not hate those things. Because what happens is when your systems are unhealthy, people start to burn out. When your systems are unhealthy, people start to think that you're unorganized. And something that kills a team faster than anything is unorganization. When you're not consistent, when you're not integral in doing what you say you're going to do. All right. 3, healthy systems work when you are not. When you have a healthy system, it works when you are not. The work may be in the beginning stage to build it out, for it to build a good team. But once you have it, healthy systems work when you are not working. All right. So we have to do healthy systems because systems in all really build the culture of your team. Here's what I wrote for culture. Culture is what you allow. Put this down. Culture is what you allow, or just take notes. You may not have to put it in the notes here, but just take notes on this. Culture is what you allow, what you celebrate, what you create, and what you correct. Culture is what you allow, what you celebrate, what you create, and what you correct, or what you don't correct. So when I'm building a system to build a team, healthy team, I have to make sure that my culture is healthy as well. And if I'm allowing certain things, if I am celebrating or not celebrating things when they're going good, if I'm creating things that are good or some things that are not efficient, or I'm not correcting when things are wrong, then I am building a culture that is not healthy. And that then goes along with the systems. Culture is the DNA to your team. All right. I wanted to say that about systems. So if you're building a team, because you are a leader, you are a creative leader, but all leaders need people that follow. And here's how you're going to help to get people to follow. So you got to build healthy systems. All right. Step 1, like I said, start with the end in mind. When you're creating your process map, you want to make sure that when you're building a system, you start with the end in mind and you write out all of the steps to get there. This is how you start to build out your processes. This is how you start to build out your playbook for your team. All of these things will go into your playbook so that you can give this to people who join your team, because that's how you duplicate yourself. Start with the end in mind. Get some people together. You got to get people together. And the way how you get people together is by creating and building healthy processes, building a healthy system that would then turn into a good structure. Another way that you get people together is by operating in excellence. That's what I wrote down about excellence. Excellence is doing the best you can with what you have. Excellence is doing the best you can with what you have. And when you do that, you will always have a team that's ready to run. All right. Get some people together. Get some people together. Let me stop there. As you are getting people together on your team, this is one thing that I noticed with a lot of people who are building teams. Teams function when people are very clear on their position. All right. Clarity on a position helps teams to function much easier. So when I'm building a team and I'm building positions, I want to identify, number one, I want to identify the what. What do I need you to do? I want to identify the what for people who are on my team so that they will be able to function easily. One person that was teaching us, and that's where I got some of my content from, was saying some people don't really want to think when they're on your team. They just want to know what you want them to do and they want to do it. So you have to identify the what. Two, you have to identify the why. It's no reason for me to tell you to do something without you giving the why behind the what. Because if you don't give the why behind the what, certain people would just do stuff to do stuff. And when it comes to a place of it either breaking down or other things happening, I don't really understand the why. So why am I doing it? For example, I'm talking about it. What if they stopped giving out the pieces of paper that say you just made the greatest decision? What if we stop doing that because we don't understand the reason why we do that? And so that a greeter in the lobby can actually see somebody with this laminated orange sheet of paper saying you made the greatest decision, so that I can get them to come to the next steps booth to give me their information. That's the why behind it. But if I don't understand the why, I may skip one of the steps in the process. And so when I'm building a team and I'm getting people together, I want to identify the what. I want to identify the why. Here's another thing that's tripped me up, and I don't want it to trip you up. You have to also identify who's doing it. Who's doing the what and the why on your team? Whose job, whose position, whose responsibility is it to do this? So who's doing it? Here's the fourth one. Set the expectation and reinforce it. Set the expectation. I'm preaching to myself, y'all. As I'm preaching to y'all, set the expectation and reinforce it. So 4, identify the what. If I'm getting people together, just tell them what their positions are. Identify the what, identify the why, who's doing it, and then set the expectation, and you must reinforce the expectation. My problem has normally been, once I ask you to do it once and I show you, then I think we're good. But what I'm realizing as I lead more and more, that you have to check or inspect, check what you expect. That's what it is. You have to check what you expect, or they say it like this: inspect what you expect. If you're not going back to check on people to make sure they're doing the what, the why, and they're doing what you tell them to do, nine times out of 10, if you're not reinforcing it, the ball may be getting dropped. So if I'm building teams, if I'm building a healthy team as a creative leader, I have to get some people together, but I got to show them their positions. I got to let them know where they function and where they flow. All right, let's keep going. 3, said it already. You got to write stuff down. I know you don't want to do it, but the only way that you're going to make this work is you got to write some stuff down. Now you have the tools, AI. Now you have the tools, Perplexity, ChatGPT, a lot of the tools that you can go back in the videos in our Facebook group with Dr. Lester and see, hey, this is how I'm able to use AI to my advantage. I got to write stuff down. If I don't write it down, it does not exist. All right, let's keep going. Find a template. I think this is always great. One thing that a leader told me is that great leaders steal. But you gotta, and so when they say that, just reappropriate certain things that can fit your systems and your structures. A lot of things that I get is because I see what somebody's doing and I make it my own. As a creative, you can be inspired by something. When it comes to a system, though, it's best or it's good to see if a system's working, to tweak it for your context, and to put it into action. You don't have to always recreate the wheel. It's okay to steal. Rhyme. You ain't got to recreate the wheel. It's okay to steal. Find a template. This goes even into graphics or into if you're doing After Effects. All my template people, make some noise. Like, I learned how to do Photoshop even better by getting some templates, seeing how they made the things in Photoshop, seeing how to make things in After Effects. I was able to really learn After Effects and Photoshop, now Canva, all these things from getting a template and just really dissecting the template. Sometimes when you find a template of how you want to create something, it helps you to go further faster. Yes, we don't always have to. Yes, that's right. We don't have to fully reinvent the wheel. So I would tell you like this: don't reinvent the wheel. I did that today. Thanks for the template. Yes, sir. Don't reinvent the wheel. Keep it simple. Do what you got to do, make it work, and get better. Get better and better. All right. But always make it your own. I think that's great. Tamara, I think that's really good. I think one thing that we see is if I have a template, one thing that I would do with the template, let's say I'm in Photoshop. I would love to show y'all how to work Photoshop if you want to learn. Maybe I'll do a session for that one day. But if you're in Photoshop, you don't want to just make it, take the template and just throw it out there. No, you want to add things that make it your own. So I'm taking a template. Maybe it's a template of a team building, or I'm taking a template of a graphic or a video, and I'm making it my own. I'm doing certain things. I'm actually, if it's me, I'm putting 3 templates together. It is another class. I'm putting After Effects template. I'm putting 2 of them together in Premiere or whatever you use, and you won't even know I'm using a template. You can't even go to the template that I'm using because I've been able to take different things. That would translate over into your team building too. You get certain things from certain individuals or certain teams, and you put them together so that they make sense for the team that you're on. If you're starting a church, don't start from scratch. If you're building a team, don't start from scratch. If you need information, don't start from scratch. Ask the questions here. I say it like this: wisdom is the information or the skills without the pain. It's the knowledge without the pain. So wisdom is when you get someone else's skill set, someone else's knowledge, someone else's triumphs without the pain that they had to go through in order to get it. So in all that getting, get understanding, get wisdom. And so that's what you get when you invest in things like this. I want y'all to ask as many questions as possible. So in a little bit, we're going to open up for questions. Any questions that you may have on leadership, any questions you may have on creativity, I would love to answer any of those things, and I'll give you as much as I got. All right. So find a template. All right. So then how to build a structure. And this is where I wanted to kind of show you guys. So for me, if I'm building a structure for a team, and for all my people who know what Planning Center is, it has been a godsend for many of us. The reason is because it functions and flows with so many different tools in order to help a team. Now, this is good for larger teams, a church team, or even a team of a lot of people. But what we found is that Planning Center for us is just a great tool to keep people together. And so if you don't know what Planning Center is, you can always Google it. You can go to it. You can look up Planning Center. So one thing that we did when we first started, and here's the thing. Thank y'all for letting me be very transparent. I am a creative, but I function in so many different lanes, as I'm sure that you do. So as I'm talking, one thing that I think that I would love to know is different industries, like where do you guys lead? Go ahead and put that in the chat if you can. It will really help to kind of pinpoint where to kind of go in certain aspects as we continue this. But in what space are you in leadership? Maybe you're in leadership at your church, maybe you're a pastor, maybe in business, maybe an entrepreneur, maybe both. But go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm very interested, even with those who are on right now, where it is that you find your leadership, because I feel like that would actually help in certain ways of structures as we are talking about leadership. You may be multi faceted when it comes to leadership, but where do you find that you are a leader? In Wendy Spady, a pastor. Okay, this is good. This is good. I think Planning Center will be an amazing tool if you are a pastor to get your teams on the same, on the same page. So that's great. That's great. That is really good. Okay. I lead in the workplace, corporate America. I lead in church media production. That's good. That's good. So definitely, as far as for church planning center, and of course they have other tools like that for your corporate America job. Let's see. I'm business owner and I lead at church as well, and a few auxiliaries. Okay, cool, cool. That's good. That's good. That's good. Marketer for entrepreneurs. Okay, that's really good. I would say, and I'm sure there are a lot of avenues to keep good. Yes, we've been using Planning Center. Good. Church, finance, worship team. Yes, I'm a recruiting manager and media president at church. That's good. Okay, cool. I would say that there are a lot of things that can keep now pastoring, also military. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. There are a lot of tools that can keep structures going in your organization. I mean, you have Slack, you have Monday. I think it's Monday. I don't really use that, but there are a lot of different tools that you can use. I found that in the creative space, as far as a ministry space, that Planning Center is a great tool because it has so many different components and pieces to it. I'm going to actually bring up. Let me see if I can do this. Add to stage. Let me remove this and add this to the stage. I'm going to bring up our Planning Center. So with Planning Center, as you can see here, we have a plethora of different tools that really help. The most major tool or the biggest tool that we use is really our people side, to where we're able to go in and keep individuals connected and have information on different individuals. So here we're able to create forms and workflows, and as well as see all of the people that connect to our ministry. Another part would be that is a great tool for Planning Center is what's called services. If you are in ministry and you have teams, this is always a great thing to have, because it allows you to schedule individuals because of everyone's like life. It makes it easy to schedule individuals so that they can know when they're supposed to serve or information that they have. And so for us, this has been a game changer for us. Let's see, because you're able to create the run of show. So maybe you are a event planner. Maybe, of course, like if you're in ministry, you're able to create a run of show, and you're able to see your teams, and you're able to schedule teams out so that they will know when they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to serve or volunteer. I think this is a major thing as well. So this is a structure. This is not the only structure, but I really wanted to show you guys that type of structure. Yes, we've been using it since we launched our church, and it's amazing. Yes, it is worth the money, especially if you are in ministry. It's worth the money to be able to keep your people together and to help your teams to stay structured. Once again, there are plenty of other ways to keep them structured. In addition to Planning Center, we also use something else called GroupMe. You may have heard of that. That is a communication device or tool where it's almost like text messaging, but instead of having to give people your phone number, it's called GroupMe. You're able to put people in groups, and we're able to communicate and talk like just a major group chat. Now, if everybody had an Apple or like an iPhone, we'd be good, but everybody doesn't. So you need things like that. You can use other things called Band app. That's another tool that you can use to allow people to talk and to text without having to give out phone numbers as well. And so this is good for larger teams that are part of an organization or small groups, just to keep the communication there. And so I would say that is a major part to making sure that your team's communication is excuse me, sorry, making sure that your team's communication is big as well. All right. So that is the structure. But all in all, if I'm going to build a team, I have to make sure that vision is number one, that my team knows the vision of what we're doing. Number two, we have to then build a system for our teams to be able to function inside of. And that would be the structure. So, vision, systems of how we do, why we do, what we do, and then the structure are the tools that we use to keep the vision connected. All right. And those are free. Yes. So Planet Center is actually free. Once you start to get, more users and things like that, that's when it starts to cost. But it is cost efficient. We use that for our ministry, such as women's ministry. That's perfect. I think that is good, like communication device or communication. That's really good. So that's cool. So yeah, positions are very important. I wanted to open it up just briefly. If anybody had any questions, maybe over these last 3 weeks, you have been with us, and I pray that your leadership has grown, that you have started to really think through other areas of how you can grow in leadership, but then also how you can use the structure or the tools to do that. Maybe your social media, maybe you have teams that flow under you. These are always great things to see, that there are certain tools that just make your job, make what you do easier. So if you have any questions, you could throw that in the chat in regards to anything that we've covered over these 4 weeks. Once again, y'all, just want to say thank you so much for these last 4 weeks, and for this week for you. And I'll send out an email to you. But for this week, we are offering, for this week only, you guys, the introductory rate of $39.99 a month. What this covers is you will have access to all of our learning labs. We will be doing another set of learning labs in October. The regular price for that is $139. But for you guys, we're putting it in at a monthly rate. Also, you will have access as our database continues to grow, as our library continues to grow. We're going to be putting all of our videos and information on our wearecreativeleaders.com, on our website. And it's going to do nothing but grow. Price, of course, will continue to go up, but I wanted to make sure that I offered it to each of you first. So you can always go to We Are Creative Leaders, and I'll put that in right now, wearecreativeleaders.com. And there's a link at the top where you can pay for per year, or you can just do month to month. I think it's going to be an amazing time, especially for our next one. I'd like to hear more about the use of AI. Last week had a lot of information to digest. I think that was good. I think when I went back to go back and watch, one thing that Dr. Lester, he gave a lot of tools. So it's really based upon, from looking at it, the tools or the things that you need to accomplish. Certain tools that he gave us were for deep dive. So, for example, pastoring, Perplexity was just a major one that he went into, as well as ChatGPT. Those were big. You can find those, because I actually started putting those into use. You can find those in your app store, or you can just go to Perplexity. I think it's perplexity.ai. And you can put that, and you can actually use it for free. And so they have been free tools. And as you do more, you can pay, but for the most part, those tools were free. He started talking about tools depending on your what you do. So they had tools to build videos, as well as graphics. One thing that he showed us was captions. That was a big thing that I picked up on, that I was already using. That also will like chop up your sermons, or chop up long form video using AI. It will find the best part of the long form video. So let's say a preacher clip, you could put that in captions and it will find the part of your sermon or your talk, or just like if I'm doing this right now, it'll find the best parts that will connect to an audience. It would also even grade, that part so that you can know how well it may do. I use ChatGPT, but I know about implementing, Perplexity. That was a major game changer. So but everything that he talked about in AI, once again, it is on our Facebook page in our group. You can always go back, watch it, slow it down a little bit, take more notes, because it was a wealth of information and knowledge that you definitely can put into place. I was thinking about doing something where we brought him back to kind of slow down for this next one and kind of talk through like the how to, like prompts. That was a major one. He gave us a few prompts in that video, but giving us a few more prompts. I think that would be great in order to make your AI work for you. Another thing I got from it was to start to train your AI to talk like you, to speak like you, to know you. And the way to do that is to continue to put that information, like things that you've talked about, sermons, all of those things, into your AI so it can start to learn you. So I think that was great. Cool, 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 cool. All right. Once again, y'all, thank you so much. I think this has been an amazing now 4 weeks. And I pray that you have leveled up your leadership. I pray that I had to screenshot his slides. Yes, I had to screenshot his slides. Yes, he was taking notes. Yes, so go back to our Facebook page, the private group. Watch that video. It's still up for you to watch. Screenshot the slides, pause it, do what you need to do. All right. Well, thank y'all, so much for everything this week. Please tell somebody about what you experienced. Next month, we're going to do something for individuals who are wanting to grow your church. So we're going to talk to creative leaders who may be pastors, who may be going into church launches, or maybe you want to grow your specific ministry. So for next month, we'll be bringing on some man of the nation's greatest pastors. I already locked in just a few. We're going to lock in 3. But I've locked in a few, and I think it's going to be an amazing time. You're going to get information. You're going to get details. You're going to get systems of how they actually grew their church to certain numbers. And so I'm looking forward to our next one, and you're going to see information come out, but it's going to be really good. Thank y'all for supporting. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for every vision God gave you. Thank you. And so just stick with us. We'll go into other things where we'll start to learn Photoshop. We're just going to do a lot. Creatives, we're all over, but we have to first understand our DNA and how to lead. So I'm looking forward to it. Once again, thank y'all so much. It's about to be 8:30, so I want you to enjoy the rest of your night. We will put this up on our Facebook, in our Facebook group, so that you can see it. Please go back, go watch it. And I cannot wait to see you at our next one. All right. Have a good night. God bless. Some of the great nuggets. Yes. Guess I'll drop. Yeah. Thank you, Leah. All right, y'all. Good night.